Well, it's that time of year. Many of us are taking kids to pediatricians for their checkups and shots that they'll need to participate in sports or to just get into school. Mental health is not something many of us think about. We want you to, and we've got you covered. Here is what you need to know is Fox 29 lifestyle expert Shari. Important topic to address, and it's not one many of us, as you said, think about. But when it comes to focusing on mental health with children and pediatricians and their checkups, different focuses for different ages?
Absolutely. But the bottom line is, Roxanne, that your brain is the most complex organ in your body. Right now, this second, you've got trillions of electrochemical transactions happening in your brain that enable you to be awake and stand there and talk to me and see the cameraman, but sort of ignore him to focus on this, and feel a whole litany of emotions and behaviors at the same time. And it's those emotions and behaviors that we talk about when we're talking about mental health. And of course, there's kind of a bell curve of what's considered situationally appropriate. And when we see something, emotions and behaviors outside of that situational appropriateness, that's what we might label, depending on what it is, anxiety disorder or depression or attention deficit disorder or OCD. And 1 in 5 kids is going to experience that. Half of them are going to experience it before they're 14. Wow. So the number one way we can help our kids, 1 in 5, is by early intervention, especially when we see it over prolonged periods of time in different situations, in school and at home and with friends, and when it's interfering with their life, with their happiness.
And I think one of the big things, and it's another topic for another time, but just when you mention those statistics, we got to remove the taboo and the don't talk about. It's okay. I mean, especially when you talk about everything the brain's doing. Well, I mean, no wonder there's issues.
Of course, of course. And that's one of the biggest challenges with trying to figure out and diagnose this. When you have a broken arm, boom, everyone agrees it's broken. If you have a tumor, there it is, right on the x-ray, you know what it is. But with mental health, we diagnose these things based on the signs and symptoms. And some of these signs and symptoms happen naturally as part of development. Kids may be overly dramatic at certain ages and so forth. With the first child, you may not know what's normal or not normal. And the other thing is, Roxanne, they occur gradually over time, and we tend to adjust to them if our kid is hyperactive. So we may wake up one day and say, wow, our life has become way outside of that bell curve of appropriateness, and that's when we do something.
So, okay, a parent, like you said, says that maybe we need to do something. If they suspect or think something's going on, how do they approach this?
Well, the best thing to do is right now, this time of year, at your annual pediatrician checkup, you talk to your pediatrician about it. They're going to rule out physical issues. They'll then do a brief screening where they basically ask you to answer questions, and it looks like if it looks like there's something more serious, they'll refer you to a mental health professional for an assessment and evaluation. It may be as simple, Roxanne, as changing routines at home, or telling your child's teacher so they get extra time on tests, or teaching them new coping mechanisms so that they don't have to develop a substance abuse issue or an eating disorder to deal with this when they get older.
Exactly. And when you say the numbers that you just quoted, I mean, it's not that. Take the stigma away. If you think you've got an issue, just address it and help your child and help your family as well.
It's an organ, just like your stomach or your heart.
Thank you so much for bringing this to light. I appreciate it, Shari. Felicia?
Thanks a lot, Rod.